Welcome back to Indiana Diecast Racing. This is the continuing first round action of the Final Fantasy Fracas, and today we've got groups 35 and 36. Group 35 is guaranteed to be a good one, as we've got another all-lethal diesel group. Kicking it off from Rust Belt Diecast, the Commish is driving Breakin' Faces, weighing 58 grams. Starting on the outside of him on lap 1 will be Louisa, returning for Vapor Racing in Hulk Smash, weighing 75 grams. She drove an Aston Martin for House Slytherin in the House Cup, making it all the way to round 4. Representing Dubious Diecast in the 58-gram half-and-half, it's Goulet. And lastly, Brutal returns to Indiana from Filipiak Performance Diecast in Lethal Dose, weighing in at a hefty 105 grams. The blue and green of the Commission Louisa start up front, Goulet and Brutal in the back. Louisa and Brutal get a good jump on the outside lane and they're off. The front pair are flying. Oh, and Louisa has wrecked. She gets hammered by the Commish and Goulet as Brutal coasts to a big lap 1 victory from the P4 starting position. The Commish slides down the final straight to claim second, and here comes Goulet for third. Louisa will be the odd driver out, starting the day with a front row DNF. She took a fast lead into Echo Base, but takes the turn 2 shallow, and like many before her, she rolls and loses out on a great opportunity for 4 early points. Brutal with a somewhat surprising lead after lap 1. It's Goulet and the Commish up front for lap 2. Brutal and Louisa in the back. The outside lane with an initial spurt, but there go Goulet and Brutal to get in front. They get single file, and it's a tight, clean group through the most difficult part of the track. Brutal all over Goulet as they come to the final straight. Oh, the Commish is wrecked, and lap 2 is Goulet, Brutal, and Louisa. That was almost a really fantastic lap for everyone. Let's head back to the last few seconds to see what happened to the Commish. The Commish trailed Goulet and Brutal all the way from turn 2, tries to cut the corner of the final turn to close the gap, and rolls his vehicle despite that low profile. That just shows how much speed the entire group was carrying through the Savage Square, something we don't see too often. Something else we don't see often, the back row drivers from the opening lap with a big lead at the midway point. Points leaders Brutal and Goulet share the front row for lap 3. The inside lane of Brutal and Louisa get ahead quick, while the Commish lags behind. It's a 3-car race into Echo Base, and Louisa nearly gets tossed off the track. She makes a great recovery as they spread out, and the Commish is wrecked. Brutal flies to the victory, and he's going to be the only one to complete the lap, as both Louisa and Goulet are on the roofs on the back part of the Savage Square. Louisa got a little loose down the coroplast, allowing Goulet to tap her from behind, and she rides the outside wall of the Echo Base turn, miraculously staying on track as Goulet had to really manage that wheel to do the same. Brutal locks up the group win in his spot in round 2. Goulet takes a 3-point lead for second into the final lap. Underdog Louisa takes the final pole, group winner Brutal on the outside. Brutal's not going to make this easy, but Louisa pulls ahead and takes an unlikely early lead. The Commish lagging behind again as Louisa leads the field through Echo Base. Brutal closes the gap and takes a look. Louisa all over the place, and I don't know who took the lap. Goulet flies across for third, and in typical Rust Belt fashion, the Commish knew he couldn't make round 2, so he has decided to pout in turn 3. Taking a quick look at the finish line again, the judges are calling it in favor of Louisa, so she takes the 4 points on lap 4. Unfortunately, with 2 DNFs, it's not going to be enough, as Goulet holds on to advance in the number 2 spot. On to Group 36, and first up is Bolo Brown from Miniature Car Racing in Midnight Ocean, a 2-tough weighing 57 grams. From Raw Sun God Racing, it's Ryzen in Ryzen Express, a 52-gram super tuned. Truck number 3 is S. King Representing Uncle Elvis Racing in Max Overdrive, a fast gassin weighing in at 62 grams. And lastly, it's IDR's own Owen Grady at the helm of Tis But a Scratch, a 68-gram armored action truck from the Jurassic World series. Bolo and Ryzen up front, King and Owen in the back. Ryzen is slow on the outside and Bolo takes off. He's all alone as he clears Echo Base, and there's King on the side, Ryzen and Owen nowhere in sight. Bolo Brown takes the opening lap victory, and we've got ourselves a triple DNF to open the group. We're going to skip the replay since all the craziness actually happened off camera. Miniature Car Racing, the only team with points after one. They rotate around, putting S. King on the pole for lap 2. King gets ahead on the inside lane, but Bolo's keeping pace. Ryzen has fallen behind, and Owen rolls in turn 2. King wrecks for a second time in Echo Base, and Bolo's right there to snowplow through. We're going to have back-to-back triple DNFs as once again, Bolo Brown's pickup is the only vehicle to finish the lap. This has been looking like a good run for S. King, but he doesn't seem to be able to handle that super fast 180. Bolo Brown clinches a tie for the group win and a spot in round 2 after only the first 2 laps. Second place may just come down to whoever can reach the finish line, so clearly I could have done a better job putting this group together. Owen Grady floors it, but he quickly hits the speed limiter on that truck, and Bolo pushes King out front. King takes the lead into Echo Base, and he makes it! Owen wrecks, and King is rolled now as well too. No! Bolo Brown smacks into the King and performs a recovery. King still can't stay upright, and Bolo Brown shoves his way past the fuel truck, and he is going to slowly limp to the finish line to put up his 3rd consecutive lap victory, continuing to be the only driver in Group 36 to reach the finish line. Despite his rollover issues, Uncle Elvis has clearly built King a fast gasser, but Bolo Brown is clearly the man of the hour, as despite the chaos among the rest of the group, he can't be stopped. I'm not sure what's going on with Ryzen, but I'm hearing he's having some axle issues that are causing enough friction that it's preventing his truck from progressing down the track. Bolo Brown is in. The next driver to cross the line will follow him. There's Ryzen on the pole with Owen on the outside. Owen lets loose, but he slows in the turn. He wrecks in turn 2, and King is on his side as well. Ryzen leads Bolo into Echo Base, but Bolo Brown is not giving up. They connect, and they're nose to nose. Bolo rolls off the track, and Ryzen's axle issues finally bring him to a stop in the square, and this one is a quadruple DNF. Hold on. There's a kerfuffle in the officials booth. It seems for the first time ever, the track officials are calling this race over, and only Bolo Brown will advance due to the severe issues the other drivers are having and their unlikelihood to complete a lap. That'll shake things up with a number of wildcard spots, which we'll have to sort out later. There's Brutal, Bolo, and Goulet added to the round 2 board, and I'm hearing that Louisa has been tapped as a potential wildcard. Congratulations to Brutal, Goulet, and Bolo Brown. This has been Jim D for Indiana Diecast Racing. Be sure to check in next time for more slightly above mediocre diecast racing and the continuing round 1 action of the Final Fantasy Fracas.